This, in contrast to the slow Glacier HB deck, is a fast tempo deck. It's called a tempo deck because it relies on getting ahead of the runner in terms of tempo. Not just in terms of gaining money or agenda points, but more importantly, to disrupt the runner, to lob snowballs and stones at them to make them fall behind. In this case, as the Jinteki faction, this is done by lobbing net damage at the runner, which causes them to lose potentially valuable cards from the hand. In an extreme case, an overly aggressive runner that takes too much net damage can even flatline, allowing you to instantly win the game. So that is what this deck is trying to do. One thing that I must stress that a lot of players can get a misconception of is that a lot of damage-based decks, this one included, is not a pure kill deck. Oftentimes, you have a dual win condition. In this case, you can win either by scoring 7 agenda points or by flatlining the runner. You almost never go all in on the flatline. In this case, this tempo deck attempts to force the runner into a lose-lose situation where they have to let you either gain agenda points or take a lot of net damage and potentially flatline. And this can be achieved by this very powerful agenda that you see here, Obo Carter Protocol. This agenda is worth a lot of points to both the runner and the corp, but for the runner to steal it, they must suffer 4 net damage in return. This is a very painful penalty that can potentially put them in net damage, flatline range, I should say. So the theme of this Jinteki deck is a prickly deck that spikes the runner every now and then and cuts them 1,000 times, hopefully giving the corp an easy victory. So the strengths of this Jinteki deck, well, unlike most other decks, this deck actually protects itself pretty well. Even if you don't place an ice on R&D on your first turn, the runner has to be careful about running R&D, because if they hit any of your agendas, they will take net damage from your ID ability. Or they could hit an ambush like this Breach Dome here, which causes them to take a meat damage and even trash the top card of the stack, which could be a valuable card. Another big powerful card part about this deck is the Grail Ice. Now, this Grail Ice refers to Galahad, Merlin, and Lancelot. They all have the Grail subtype that you can see here. And what they have in common, the Grail subtype, is that they are by themselves not very powerful ice. They only have a single subroutine and they are not very high strength. However, if you have multiple Grail Ice in your hand, you can review them while the runner is encountering these Grail Ice and add on subroutines. So for example, if the runner encounters a Galahad by itself, it simply ends the run. However, if you have a Merlin and a Lancelot in your HQ and you show it to the runner while they're encountering the Galahad, you add on a net damage subroutine and a trash program subroutine to the Galahad they are encountering. This can make for a potentially very nasty encounter because the runner will have to be prepared for net damage and program trashing to occur from barriers, code gates, and sentries alike. This is a very powerful trait that can potentially give you a lot of time that is needed to score your early agendas, deterring the runner until they have all their breakers available. Well, Jinteki is not without its weaknesses. Even though it can threaten net damage, it is often poor. Surprisingly, scoring agendas takes a lot of tempo away from you. This Jinteki deck also doesn't fare very well in the late game. Its ice and economy simply does not match that of the HB deck we've just seen, and the net damage doesn't exactly lend itself very well to flatlining the runner if they are playing carefully and they still have cards remaining in their stack to take net damage with. So you have to be careful and you want to play this quickly. Win before the runner has an opportunity to lock your servers down. Some interesting lines of play possible with this Jinteki deck. There's this card in this deck called Shipment from Tenin, and it is your fast advance option in this Jinteki deck. While HB relies on Baltic Label to gain clicks, Shipment from Tenin allows you to place 2 advancement tokens on a card in a single click, essentially allowing you to fast advance 3 advanceable agendas from your hand. Just like with the Project Vitruvius we mentioned earlier, for the HB deck, this allows you to close out the game if you're at 5 agenda points, meaning that the runner has to be very worried about this option. Early game, however, you can also use this to score some powerful agendas. Brain Trust doesn't do much when scored, however it gives you 2 agenda points, which is important. Every agenda point counts. House of Knives, on the other hand, is worth fewer agenda points but has a very powerful ability, giving you more sources of net damage, which can potentially increase your chances of flatlining the runner. Now, you must keep in mind, very importantly, as the core, that Shipment from Tenon can only be played if the runner did not make a successful run during their last turn. So this is a very important thing to note. You want to deter the runner from making successful runs so that you can score these agendas. Right. Another interesting line of play is with Violet level clearance. This seems like a very benign card on first sight. It basically gives you more money and more cards. However, it can be used to very good effect in this particular Jinteki deck because it runs Breach Dome. Breach Dome is an ambush that works in every server, but it is particularly effective in Archives. It works in Archives and the runner cannot do anything about it. Whenever they access Archives, they have to take the meat damage and trash the top card of their stack. So this deters them from running Archives. No one wants to take meat damage, but this you can use as Jinteki to your advantage. You can stash excess agendas in your Archives so that they are safer if you think that the runner is too scared to run Archives. So that's a very interesting interaction there. Violet level also pads your hand with lots of cards, which allows you to play Celebrity Gift, which is at its maximum effectiveness if you review lots of cards from your hand. So Violet level, a very powerful card in this Jinteki deck.